Hey, it's Christiana-Simon. Today I'm going to talk about why I have 70,000 pictures on my phone and 5,000 videos. And it boils down to I just want to remember well. And in my life, I have moved so many times and I am traveling constantly and I take care of a lot of different kids and have really good friend groups that are all over the world. And in that, I struggle to differentiate reality versus like my expectations. And that's something I want to delve into more because I don't think it's talked about a lot, which is like memory and memory struggles we think of as something only like older people struggle with, or if you really do have short-term memory loss, or if you like do a lot of drugs, it's hard to like remember what actually happened. And I hate that. I really want to remember everything. And that seems weird and burdensome, but as somebody who is an artist and I want to make films, I cherish every memory like it's a movie. And going through my photos is something that I love to do. I am somebody that doesn't delete pictures. I don't delete pictures, I don't delete videos. And it's because I love to sit in it and remember how well I actually remember things. Because being bipolar has taught me that I do things with really sometimes reckless abandon, but also with extreme intentionality. And there is this dichotomy of both, but remembering things and thinking through my memories and being able to text people a photo and say, oh my God, do you remember this? Like, do you remember what it was like? Knowing that I myself remember things in technicolor detail. I remember exactly what like the fencing looked like on the specific ride I went to at Disney, and like all of these really fine details. I'm always looking and taking things in and really trying my best to remember, because before I get to a moment, I've already come to it with a conclusion on what it's going to look like. So I've learned throughout the years the best thing that I can do to help my future self is to be as present in taking in information as I can. That's also gone into like trying to listen better and be more aware of the people around me. But remembering and having good memories and even having clarity about the bad memories matters a lot to me. And I want to go from move to move and city to city with this clarity in retrospect of what I went through, and then have proper documentation of it. Because I care so much about the things that I went through, whether good or bad, in the cities that I've lived in, that being able to think about people I've been in a relationship with and have that be in a good light and have photos to represent that and have sort of an open book with myself to always let myself go back in and research and go, what was that like for me? I don't delete text threads either. I like to really go back and I try to learn from my past as much as I can. And a lot of that starts by looking back while you look forward and say, okay, what did I do in that relationship versus like what do I want to do better? And then who am I right now and what parts of me live in both of those places? And remembering well starts with being present with yourself and leveling out those expectations versus reality. I can have a grandiose expectation for a friend coming over, but what do I do when those expectations don't go well and the event turns out completely different? How do I want to remember that? Well, I want to be honest, of course. I want to be honest with what actually happened, but I also want to value my expectations because I thought of that for a reason. I wanted it to go the way it did for a reason, and making sure my reasons are good and justified, but also knowing that sometimes the things that I've been through and the choices that I've made aren't good things, and I can use those memories against myself, and I can continue to think about a person or a situation that I can't change and harm myself with it. But the best thing that I can do is think about the person, place, or thing and really break it down into, the reality of what happened and what I wanted it to be, and also looking at, wow, I remembered the smallest moment. I remember the thing I was drinking at the time, or I remember the shirt that I wore that day, and clinging on to good components of all of your memories, as well as being sober with the fact that it might not have gone well. And your memories don't have to be something that can haunt you. I really do believe that they can be harnessed and used well and enrich your everyday life, to attach memories to things without attaching burdens, without attaching, your own pain to situations. I don't ever want to forget people or forget even the smallest encounter that I've had with somebody, because we only have one life. And I know that sounds cliche, but I want to be present and I want to remember. And I think that the way that I start is remembering well and being joyful within my memories, or being even just positive and having positive thinking about what I've been through, and never categorizing all in one swoop. Never, oh, I hated that person, or this city was the worst, which I definitely tend to do just because I kind of like the drama of it. But then I have to check myself, because there were so many beautiful moments of the worst city that I lived in. And after I made that video where I mentioned Hawaii being the worst place I've lived, I sat through and I looked at my photos and I was like, that was such a beautiful place. And the friends that I made there, some of them are still really important to me. I'm going to reach out to them. And I had to check myself, knowing that like as I'm doing these videos and I'm thinking about everything that I've been through, I don't want to like full swoop everything. There's beautiful complexities, and I think that we as people owe it to ourselves and to the experiences we've had to never remember people, places, or things in one light and one dimension, but try to flesh them out and remember them as four-dimensionally as possible, because that's ultimately the way we experience things. And training ourselves to meditate and to think through things allows for so much hope and dreaming and possibility. So I challenge you to remember well today. Pick something that might not be a great memory and think back through it. Look through pictures if you have them. Reach out to old friends and try to learn and grow and bring joy from your own life to your present tense.